In one corner you have warrior knights with armors of holy Sigmarite, bearing weapons forged from the remains of a dead world and lightning in their veins. And in the next corner, ghosts and specters of the age-old dead risen again in bitterness, bearing cruel rust-coated weapons reflecting the cold moon in their decaying blades, hating and devouring anything that still draws breath. That is essentially the premise of this awesome book that I have in my hands right here. This is Soul Wars, the first novel in Soul Wars series written by Josh Reynolds, set in the Age of Sigmar. I am super excited to finally get this book, though I am kind of sad that it took me so long to get it since it isn't exactly a new book and has been out since the July of this year. But that's all in the past now. It's here right in my hands and I am so glad it is. Now, when I first found out that a novel was coming out featuring not only my favorite faction from Age of Sigmar, the Nighthaunts, but also one that prominently features my favorite storm host of the Stormcast Eternals, the Anvils of the Heldenhammer, you can understand my excitement. Now I want to mention here that I have never played the tabletop Warhammer games, any of those, because where I live there is next to no presence of Warhammer or its communities. I have although played almost all of the digital games and am a big fan of the lore of both Warhammer 40k and Age of Sigmar. I have done a lot of reading on these universes and even though I am no lore master, I am always eager to learn more. Which is why this book was a no-brainer for me due to the fact, like I mentioned, Nighthaunts being the coolest guys ever and the Anvils of the Heldenhammer storm host. Now for those of you who know their Age of Sigmar lore, please correct me if I make a mistake, and for those of you who don't know, Sigmar is the god king of mankind in Age of Sigmar and has an elite army of warriors known as Stormcast Eternals. Now a Stormcast Eternal is a warrior forged from the soul of a hero or heroine that Sigmar saved just before their deaths, took to Sigmaron in the realm of Aesir and remade them into the perfect fighter, fashioned with the best armor made from Sigmarite and the mightiest of weapons. There are a bunch of Stormcast hosts already in the canon of Age of Sigmar, and one of them is called the Anvils of the Heldenhammer. Now like I mentioned that these guys are prominently featured in this novel, and what sets these Stormhosts apart from all the others is the fact that each and every warrior of this host was not saved by Sigmar on the threshold of death, but had been dead for centuries before Sigmar found them in the realm of the dead known as Shyish. All of these warriors had a cold inner strength that allowed them to endure the centuries of existing as shades and ghosts among the dead. Even though they were saved from their fate and given new purpose as Stormcast Eternals, they still have memories of the experiences and the time spent when they were all dead. They still bear all the knowledge of the olden times, and combine that with the renewed strength they have been granted by Sigmar, the Anvils are a force to be reckoned with. Now Nagash is the lord of the dead in the world of Age of Sigmar, and the Nighthaunts are his legions of vast armies of wraiths of the long dead of the mortal realms. Though Nagash has all the Nighthaunts under his sway, what makes this faction so interesting is that they are not simply brain-dead undead. Rather, the Nighthaunts have history, story and tragedy all around their very beings. The book details the conflict that ensues after Nagash unleashes his legions upon the mortal realms, and their first major target is the city of Glimsforge. But in his way and the conquering of that city stand the brooding and dark Anvils of the Heldenhammer. I have heard a lot of good about this book, and the fact that it goes into good detail on the processes of reforming Stormcast Eternals, the Anvils and the history of the Nighthaunts, it was a pretty no-brainer for me to get this book. Anyway, super excited to finally start this book. I got this hardcover which is awesome, but a cheaper paperback will be releasing in 2019, so get that if you're interested and don't want to spend too much. Though I would say that get the hardback, it's a pretty beautiful looking book. Now I will be taking my time with this book because I want to savor everything that it has to offer, but will be putting out a review with my full thoughts, so this was just a heads up or an update video about a really cool thing that I got. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like. If you didn't like it, obviously dislike. Why would you do that, man? And if you like supporting the channel, please do consider subscribing and turning on those notifications so you can be notified when I like upload the full review of this book. With that said, stay safe, stay cool, check out my other videos. We're playing Diablo 1 HD mod nowadays, go check that out, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.